Hi everybody, my name is Racha and welcome to a buyer's guide for DINO masks from secondhand stores over here in Europe, where usually they go for quite expensive, going up to 100 euros compared to America, where they're seen as the cheapest viable option. So for those people that don't know, a DINO mask is a mask which I'm actually wearing right now. It's this base for a mask that you can get from Target for quite cheap in America, and that's why people use this. It's always more or less the same one from the same Jurassic Park brand. And because of the long distance and because there is no Target in Europe, at least not that I know of, the shipping costs are super high, which you really, at least I don't want to pay. And I assume most people don't want to pay either, because the reason they're sought after in the first place is that the price is so low. Regardless, they are seen as a symbol for like, I am broke, but I still want to participate, and people want the real authentic thing, because most of the ones you can get off of sites are made out of rubber, and you don't want that. That's really bad. That's a no-go. So you're gonna want to get an authentic, real mask, which is usually the Jurassic Park one. I totally recommend getting one off of a second-hand retailer and not Amazon. I could barely even find offers at all for the original Jurassic Park Dino mask, and of course it's, the base. This is not customized or anything. Plus, they go for way high prices due to import tariffs and I don't even know what. So I looked at some second-hand retailers, and of course there's a big list of like international second-hand retailers. The reason I don't recommend these is because they're super big, and I don't recommend that for a number of reasons. The first of which being you can't actually pick it up in person, meaning you can't verify whether it's a scam or not, and the scam risk for these masks is massive. Second of all is, of course, you're actually supporting people near you and not someone you'll probably never even get to know. That's always nice. And third of all, they're usually a steal. It's amazing. Plus, there's no shipping costs or anything.
Here on Etsy, there's a lot of good offers. You can actually see where they ship from. This is Australia. Shipping costs 17 euros. We don't want that. Here is United States, also 17 euros. We don't want that. Ukraine, 18 euros. For some reason more, even though it's closer. I mean, these are obviously the prices for fully furred dino masks, which are obviously going to be more expensive due to the raw labor that they put in. Still, we don't want this shipping, especially when we're going for a cheap one, or like as cheap as possible. Like for example here, absolute fucking steal. Even like regardless of the design, I'm not going to comment on the design, but if we wanted to get this one for 21 euros, because this is very cheap, the extra 10 euros might actually make a huge difference in this case. Like what, that's 50% tagged onto the price, and for people that don't have very much money, obviously that's suboptimal.
Another huge advantage of these is that sometimes pre-made masks, like the one that I'm wearing right now, that's already painted and it's got all the things built in, they can actually go for cheaper than the bases on Amazon. The one that I found cost me 65, while the base off of Amazon would cost me around 100 euros, and this is actually great because even though I don't get to custom commission the character, that's not how it works off secondhand, I still get to have a really nice suit that I can, go fursuit with and have tons of fun with. So, apart from, Vinted and Etsy and those ones, what are the actual, local options that you want? Because in every country that I've checked, it's actually a different option.
For the record, this was Germany, eBay Kleinanzeigen. If you type in, what's this, dino mask, you'll get some things. If you type in furry, you're gonna get a lot of things. Also, you can always type in fursuit, but that's not what we're looking for. Despite that, you'll find quite a few things, maybe a dino mask or two, but that's usually not what they're tagged as. And honestly, these secondhand sites are just gold mines. Honestly, just gold mines. I could not recommend them enough. Here we can see one that's obviously hard plastic, just the way they're holding it. This is an original base, no customization here, but you can see that this costs 10 euros. This is actually amazing, especially given the original. For Spain, I couldn't find any on Milanuncios, but Wallapop is amazing. A lot of Polish fursuit makers out there. Glad to see them still living up to the stereotype. Then here, Czechia on Seznam, some for Sweden, also around 10 euros. You've got, what's this? Denmark! In Britain, apparently, Facebook Marketplace is huge, so you should check on there. Of course, I'm gonna have a larger list in my comments that you guys can also contribute to, because this is absolutely not complete.
Of course, one caveat of these secondhand vendors is that you might have to go pick these things up yourself, and while that might be dangerous on the surface, I recommend doing it during the daytime, of course, and in a public space. Don't ever go into anybody's house, please. And while it may seem dangerous on the surface, you need to negotiate with the vendor first before you actually buy the mask. You know, find a good location to meet, suggest a price if you can do that, discuss details of the mask, of the character, if the rights belong to you, whatever. And while you're doing that, you can already look out for red flags. Of course, another thing is when you go out to actually pick up the mask and pay the money, don't pay beforehand. I don't recommend that, because you might get scammed out of it. You can also see whether the mask is fake. You can immediately see if it's rubber or hard plastic. You want hard plastic, of course. Rubber is not good. The base price you'll get is about 50 euros, which, considering the original price of 100, which we're trying to reduce, 50 is really, really good. It's like half. But sometimes, if you log in at the right moment, and I'm not saying this is guaranteed whatsoever, big disclaimer, but if you're lucky, I have found several offers on several sites that equate down to around 10 euros minimum. The problem is, you'll need to be there at the right time to actually grab them, and sometimes they're not as high quality. Like for example, this one, there's actually several offers when I bought my own. This was a fancier option and there was a cheaper option, and I just like this one better because the design was much better done than the other ones. So if you're going for super cheap, just keep in mind that the quality will not be as high. Another thing that you'll have to definitely keep in mind is that these may need to be edited a little bit. For example, for me, I've had to edit the rubber band on the back, and the paint job is somehow like scraping off because it's missing a protective layer, so I'm going to need to apply that myself at some point. So quality is not like 100% perfect, but remember, these are also human beings, and it's probably tricky. Don't ask me, but it's probably tricky. In conclusion, I'm super happy regardless, because this lets me be a little bit sillier than I usually might be when I show you my face, and I kind of like it. I kind of like the anonymity, and obviously if you go meet other furries in real life, which obviously be careful when you're doing that, it's obviously much nicer also being able to cover your face like everybody else, because otherwise other fursuits are a little bit unapproachable. I don't know if I'm the only person who thinks that, and I hope I'm not. So that'll be it. I think I covered everything. Please stay safe. See you guys. Thanks. Bye.